Welcome, guys. Welcome to another episode. I've been gone for a while. I've been on vacation for 4 weeks and now I'm finally back. And I miss it so much. God, I would love to go back. I don't know if you have that too sometimes when you go on vacation and kind of right after when you come back, everything feels so unreal, especially after 4 weeks of traveling and you're just back and you're like, wait, what is this? Where am I? Did I used to live in this place? And that's literally how I've been feeling. And yeah, I needed some time to settle in. But I had the most amazing time and really felt how life came back to me. Because that's something I really struggled with in the past was just this dull feeling I had about everything. So like whatever I did, nothing really excited me that much. I mean, I had a good time and had good times and whatsoever, but you know when you have this feeling of life within you, just really life that is within you. And that's a feeling I have not been knowing for like years. Sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Like, I think the last time we've really felt alive, I guess, has been 3 years ago. Damn, sounds crazy. Maybe it's 2 years, but like a longer time. And it was so nice just feeling like you're coming back to life again and like really entering life again in such a new way. And yeah, I just loved it. It was so great and I had such a good time. And yeah, that's that part. And the thing that I want to talk about today kind of leans a little bit into the whole traveling thing and dreaming. And I'm just mesmerized because I was looking outside and I was like, what is that? And there was this beautiful, like, butter yellow butterfly flying around outside, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cute. But yeah, that's just a side note. um but yeah, one thing that I've learned or have been experiencing for myself on this trip is that you are truly able to have a certain experience in your hometown too, so it doesn't need to be that you're on vacation. And it's not gonna solve all your problems, and I still get that. Like, that's still something I'm like, yeah, okay, traveling's not gonna solve all my problems. But I do feel that it is okay if you have found a happy place. It's okay to admit that to yourself. And you don't have to feel shame about it, and you don't have to feel shame about the fact that you just have a better life being somewhere else. And I'm saying that because I think there's a lot of guilt currently when it comes to wanting to move, wanting to go other places. Because a lot of people are like, yeah, you can find happiness wherever you are because you're attracting it, right? And you're a mirror, so basically you should also attract it wherever you are. But as well as I agree, I kind of disagree too, because I think there's just different places in the world that we just feel called towards, or we just have access to a different version of us that we would never have access to if we would live in a different spot, in the same spot that we always lived in. So, like, for me, for example, it's really easy for me when I'm back home in my hometown to slip back into old habits, into an old version of me. And that happens often when I come back to my hometown for a while. And it's not happened to me when I lived in, different places around the world where I was also, of course, like, it's easier at home to like fall into bad habits whatsoever. But I never really had that in that big of an extent as a habit in my hometown. And that's just what I mean with, I think, with like specific versions being attached to different spots and places. And that's really how I felt when I was traveling through California for this month. That the second that I entered San Diego, there was something inside of me that has changed. And I mean, at first it was overwhelming too, of course. Like a new city, you're tourist, you're trying to figure out things and whatsoever. So I would lie if I would say that all of my time in San Diego was great. Like that was would just not be true. I mean, at the same time I had a cold too, so that was something I struggled with a little bit. Um but yeah, on the other hand, like I just noticed that the version of me that I am close to an ocean, close to the beach, is just so fresh and so full of life and so full of joy in a way that I've not been experiencing in a long time, that it shook me. It shook me in a way that I was like, wait, like I could have access to this all the time if I would just be bold enough to make a move, to move there or to move to an ocean city or whatever. So that was really something that clicked for me. And I think also something that I had to learn the hard way is you cannot swallow down your dreams. You can't. It's just impossible. And I think the sad truth is that, I mean, I have some history with California that we don't really need to get into right now, but always, like my whole entire life, even as a child, my biggest dream was living in California again. Like that was something where I was like, I want to live there again. That was just a genuine dream that I always had. And for whatever reason, there were always these logical points where it was like, okay, I'm not gonna study there because it's going to be too expensive. So that to me was already like a no. And then the university I studied at in my hometown, they did not really offer, they offered exchanges, but not to any city, right? So I think the closest city that I found that gave me the American feeling would have been Vancouver. And then because of COVID, that did not work out. So whenever I had the opportunity, in my mind, there was always a voice that was telling me, oh, you're not good enough for this. Oh, it's going to be too expensive. It's going to be too hard. It's going to be impossible for you to live in California for a while. And what happened is that second I was in San Diego, it's kind of like everything bubbled up inside of me again. And I had just have developed this intense desire to move there and this intense desire to make it happen. And although this is like a very beautiful feeling, it can also be frightening and a little disorienting because at first, I mean, I always knew that I meant to live at the beach or like close to an ocean. Like that's something I always felt, even though I just, tried to be like, oh no, let me just be in Vienna. That's all going to be okay. And let me just move to the next big city because that's going to be okay too. Like that's just where my mind was at. I think also because it's just a very general dream of people, right? After university or during university, you're like, oh yeah, let me just move to big city because it's going to give me more job opportunities. And from a logical standpoint, just makes the most sense. And even though like I'm glad that I did it and I'm glad that I lived in those city, I just have to admit to myself that I'm just not a big city girl just on its own. Like I love big cities and I love being big cities, but if I were to move to a big city again, it would need a certain amount of balance because otherwise I think it's just going to overwhelm me again and yeah, no, that's not going to be it. But what I'm trying to say with all of this is that you can suppress a dream as much as you want, but it's always going to find you again. And then once it's there again, you can try to suppress it again because the way that I've been handling with my dream is kind of like, oh, let me just move to France. France has also beach cities and surf cities. That's gonna do it. That's gonna be easy. It's in Europe. I can just fucking go. This is an easy peasy thing. Like, I just need to find a way to make money and I'm just gonna work there from remote or whatever. Like, that's where my mind was at. But then I was like, is this fair for me? Is this fair for me and what I want from this life? No, it's not. It's not fair. If you see it from that perspective, it's not fair for my inner child either, because she always wanted this. It was her dream. So if I'm already crushed my own dream before I even have tried to pursue it, it's kind of like crushing my past version and not really giving her respect and honoring her and honoring what she wanted and what she was dreaming of. So the next thing that I did was doing my research, trying to figure out how I could make it work. Felt this eager, intense enthusiasm of being like, fuck it, I'm gonna make this work. This is going to be easy. I'm not even gonna think about it being hard because it's going to be easy. I want it, and whatever I want, I'm always finding a way to make it happen, so I'm just gonna pursue it. So that was point number one, what I did. Great job. So, the one thing that I would highly suggest you learn from my mistake is do not tell anyone about it. That was, I think, my biggest mistake the last week. That when people asked me how my vacation was, I think one of the questions they would always ask me, because they kind of knew I was in a period of my life where I was trying to figure out what I want to do next, they would ask me like, hey, do you already know now what you want after you've been taking this trip? And I don't like lying. Like, I'm a very honest person. I don't like lying. And I don't like to just say something in order to either keep the peace or, being perceived as whatever. Like, I am very honest and I'm just saying however I think it is. And in that moment, it did not really appeal to me that much that it would make sense to keep it more to myself out of self protective reasons. For me, it was more like oh, of course, this is my new dream, this is my new obsession. Of course, I'm going to share it with people, right? Spoiler alert, it was not a good idea. That was not a good idea. Because the thing is, I mean, if you're talking with your parents about it, there will always be doubt and whatever. That's like a normal parent thing. Like, I'm not talking about the whole telling your parents. Because, I mean, although I have told my parents and they were not so amused at first, I think they kind of realized that I'm gonna try it anyways and they might as well support me. So they kind of shifted into the version of them where they're starting to support me, which started being super nice, and I really love that. But I'm more talking about other people. Like, for example, like your aunt and your uncle. You don't need to tell them. They don't need to know. They don't need to know. Or other people. They might not need to know either. I think the message that I'm trying to tell you here is more the fact that the more people you're gonna tell about it, even though they might not say something or they might not be trying to crush it, you're always gonna feel their energy. You're always gonna feel their response to it. And of course, with like political reasons right now and whatever else, they're always going to tell you that's not going to be easy. They're always going to tell you something in the lines of like, oh, but how are you going to make this work? This is going to be hard. This is going to be yada, 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 yada. The thing is, though, anything in life is hard that comes with greatness. And I'm not saying that out of a point of, oh my God, everything needs to be hard and it cannot go easy. Because to me, easy is more the sense of something flows rather than it being easy. So, starting this podcast for me, for example, was something that was in some sorts hard because I needed to do a lot of research on it. I needed to find the right microphones. I needed to find the right people. I needed to find the right setup. I needed to work on all these things. The thing though was like in the way that I was working through it, it kind of felt quite easy because the right people just came into my life, the right information came into my life. You know what I mean? It's more the idea of if something is in alignment with what you're meant to do, it's simply gonna flow anyways. So if someone else perceives your idea and your vision as something that could be hard because they have heard of someone else that tried it again or tried it themselves and tried it again and again and again, it did not work out, and that's why they see it as hard. The thing is, though, they don't know what you're meant to achieve in this life, and they don't know what you're meant to do in this life, right? So, like, if it is ingrained in your soul's path and it's what you're meant to do, and you, for example, go to a place like me, San Diego, and you feel like, damn, I genuinely want to live here, and you just have this feeling of enthusiasm and joy and excitement, and you really want to do it, then if it's in alignment with your path, it's going to become easy because the right people are gonna come. You're probably like me, for example. I've been having issues with my resume because I like making a resume in English is very different to a German one. And I'm not talking about language, it's more of like what kind of details you put in and picture. And I don't know, like for whatever reason, a resume feels to me very flat, not very creative whatsoever. And I think in Germany, we just have a lot of freedom to create very creative resumes. So, like, that to me was just like a throw off. I was like, ugh, this feels hard. I don't want to do this anymore. Fuck that shit. And what happened is throughout the last 3 days, I've met different people from the US that I was able to ask questions about my resume. See, it's hard in the sense that I need to figure out how to make an American resume right now, but at the same time, it's becoming easy because I'm willing to do the work, and that's why the universe, the divine spirit, whatever you want to call it, are sending me the people that I need to be able to make it easy. You know what I mean? It's not so much about things being easy that it's worth pursuing something because it sounds easy. Like my friend's example, for example. That's something that logically speaking sounds easy. For me, in order to pursue it and actually do it, it's probably going to be hard. Why? Because I don't want it. My soul does not want it. It's kind of like me last year where I was trying to find a job in Munich and I just did not like the city that much. I met sweet people and that I considered as friends at that time, and we're not in contact anymore, which is fine too, like roommates and whatever. And I just did not feel the vibe there. I just did not like it. And a part of me just did not want to find a job there because I didn't want it to stay there. So of course I had a lot of job interviews, but my energy and the way that I showed up in those interviews has always been in an energy of I don't want it. Even though I was telling the people like, "Oh, this is such a great job and amazing and whatever." I really remember me being in those interviews and being like, I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie, and I don't want to be like, oh my god, this is my dream job, even though I fucking don't want the job and I don't want to stay in this city. And that's what I'm trying to say with things being hard or not. And the tricky part is the more people you're telling about your dreams, the more they're gonna bring in their perception of how you're gonna be able to pursue this dream. And they don't know what kind of callings you have and what kind of things you need to follow during your whole life. And for some people, it might be easy to become a millionaire because that's just something that is meant to be part of their lifetime, and a specific point in their life when the time is right, they're just gonna have a calling, and it's going to seem like it was easy because they just followed their calling. There's people that are meant to be artists and that just wake up with a brilliant idea and the next day it blows up and they become these beautiful musicians or artists or whatever else. And it's because it's meant to be, it's meant to happen for them. So, in order to protect yourself, it's important to keep your dreams close to your heart. And only if you have close friends or people that you know, whatever you tell them that they're gonna support it in whatever way, then please tell them, because it's important to have support in those areas, and it's important to have someone who's there to feed your delusions that are not delusions, but it seems as it is delusional at first. And yeah, that's really the thing that I can say is the most important thing ever, is to either surround yourself with people that just feed your delusions as much as possible, no matter what crazy thing you're telling them, or just keep it close to your heart. Because the amount of resistance that I've been feeling over the last week, ever since I've been telling people what my dream was and what I want to do, and then them giving me the energy of it's going to be hard, just made me question my dream so much that I almost was at a point where I was like, what's the point of this? And I stopped having this life enthusiasm. I stopped having this feeling of, oh my God, I want this. I have this life force now and I'm going to pursue it. And yeah, really, please keep your dreams to yourself and believe in them because they are possible. I think we just limit ourselves to such a little amount of dreaming, and it is not humble to dream small. It's not cool to dream small either. I don't even know why it's so common and popular for people to like not dream anymore. Like, when have we stopped doing that, honestly? Because I don't know if it has something to do with like TikTok and whatever, and people telling you that things are going to happen super fast, and if it doesn't happen quick for you, then I don't know, it's not worth pursuing or it's not worth dreaming and whatever. But I think there's a perfect timing in everything in our life, and there's always going to be stages where we need to be prepared for something, and there's going to be a stage where everything seems to go super fast because the other part was meant to prepare you for the fact that there's going to be a time where things are going to go super quick, super fast. And yeah, I just think it's sad. Like, the amount of people that I've been talking to telling me that they wanted to be famous musicians and all these things. I remember in school time, like everyone wanted to be a musician, a pop star, and like an actor, whatever. And now I just feel like everyone's just so dull, and I don't even know what people like. If I were like, I remember asking someone for their dream and they were just stumbling and not really knowing what to say. And I'm not judging someone for not knowing what they're dreaming or not having it. It's okay to not have a dream, but I think it just makes life so much more worth living. That's just what I've been experiencing for myself. It's like, now that I've allowed myself to dream again and to dream in massive ways and in ways that I have not told anyone really, because my dreams are massive in a way that I sometimes cannot even comprehend them myself. But yeah, these are just really the dreams that I keep to myself, not because I'm scared that someone will crush them, but just because I think if I would speak them out loud, I kind of would start questioning them myself, I guess. So I'm just trying to not talk about it too much. But yeah, I don't know. I think life would be so much greater if we were allowing ourselves to dream again. And like, you know what I mean? Like, dream. Dream about the most horrendous thing in the world, and I promise you it will happen. That's, I think, the crazy thing is If you allow yourself to dream, it is going to happen and it is going to work out. And I think a lot of us are scared of it to work out, and a lot of us are scared of it to work out even better. Because we do, like, every one of us has the ability to manifest. We're always manifesting all the time. We're just not conscious of it. So if you dream and if you allow yourself to go into your mind and really open yourself to dreaming in big, massive ways, what you're doing is you're opening your mind up to those possibilities. Because that really is just what dreaming is. If I can see myself walking through San Diego right now, being at the beach, having a great day, living a great life there, it becomes even more accessible to me because my mind thinks it's already done. In my mind, it's like, oh, I can see it, I can feel it, I can taste it, I have an idea what that's going to look like. So your mind is automatically trying to make that happen and is going to make it happen because it already feels it, it already happened. So that's why I think it's so important to allow yourself to dream and go into this expansion of yourself and like really allowing yourself to go into the craziest thing you can think of. And that's probably already the smallest thing ever. And if you take that to the next step and you take it even higher and you think of that and you just let that dream be and then feel into it and just, let it go and let it be. And whenever you feel called to do something, you just do it, even though it makes no sense. You might be surprised where you're going to end up. And I would not be surprised if it would be in your dream reality, to be honest. Because that's just how this works. We're meant to dream and we're allowed to dream. And we're allowed to change our minds about our dreams, but I think there's just a false idea about things being hard. And that's, yeah, I think the key takeout of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to bring up more stuff soon. And I love you guys a lot.